What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
How's it going?
And to my left, he's back! Triumphant return! Zachary Parks.
Yes.
We made the test crashed and we look really good.
I know.
heard about
Yeah,
that.
he looks great.
We even got an animatronic one, too.
Got a voice chip. It looks awesome.
Test out my crash skills.
But no, it is good to have you back in the third chair.
What a terrible episode it was the last
I
one.
know, it was just a shit show. We were all over the place,
What does that think?
had no collection
Pause.
and train of thought. It was just all out the window. It was everywhere. It was crazy.
3 is
crazy.
better than 2.
It is.
But now we're back.
Now we're back.
All as one big group. But in case you did not know, Team Chat Podcast is a video game podcast where we talk about games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. If you want to get in contact with us, you can do that by sending us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com, following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, and subscribing to our iTunes and YouTube channels. If you want to support the show, give us that sweet, sweet cash so we can make it better. You can do that by going to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show, and in return, we will give you a cool perk like getting the episode early before its general Tuesday release. Again, that is patreon.com/teamchatpodcast. All right, well, last week we did have the song contest. Mogan gave us the hint of prepare your whip or take up your whip. Excuse me.
There we go.
And fight the forces of the night.
More or less. That
More or
was
less.
the
It was
gist
around
of it.
Ad-libbed
You
a
get the idea.
little bit there.
Yeah.
Just added in my own words. But the game was Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And the correct answer was given to us by our good friend Brandon Weaver, who said a Castlevania game, but I'm allowing it.
It counts.
It counts.
I'll take
Close
any
enough.
answer is a good answer for me. Just if you're participating, we almost have to give participation points. Just to, that's
Everybody's a winner.
Yeah.
Participation trophies
play.
for all of our guesses to that.
We'll
this
give
week.
anyone that just answers a a shout out.
So Brandon, send us a song and hint for a future episode. And stick around to the end of this episode when Zach will be giving us a hint.
Boop.
Boom. Or skip right ahead.
Zach.
All right. So today's topic, we have a smorgasbord of topics for us today. We each brought our own fun thing to talk about this week. So, we always just kind of just charge right in, and we never decide on who wants to actually kick it off. So, we're going to break with tradition. I'll kick it off this time.
Whoa. He's power hungry.
Yeah.
Normally it's one of you two. I feel like, it's my turn.
Yeah.
I think it might be because
Proceed.
he's wearing white today.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like
Okay,
rocking
'cause
the
that's a
power
cool
white.
shirt.
He
'Cause I
never
wanna-
wears white.
Why are they crossed out?
See,
Oh,
this
is
is
it God of War?
So
it's
it-
God of War.
Ah,
For
burn,
people not
sucker.
watching, it says Ares, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades.
And they're all crossed
And they're all
out.
crossed out like he killed them.
It did because it's a God of War
like
shirt.
Jarrett murdered them.
That
got
or
this
he's a
shirt on,
dirty atheist.
Atheism. Yeah.
I got this on Wednesday, I think, and I specifically did not wear it, even though I was incredibly excited. I wore it today so I could show it off on the podcast. So
Nerd.
Yeah.
I know it's a very nerdy thing to do, but I was very excited to get this shirt. It was either this shirt because PlayStation Gear Store was doing a sale during Comic-Con, and it was either this one or a Horizon Zero Dawn shirt. But the Horizon Zero Dawn shirt was a black shirt with a red outline of a Thunderjaw, which I was really into. But I also have like 2 other shirts that are
cool.
black shirts with red outline designs. So I was like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of them's a dog, isn't it? What is it? What is your other one?
it's a Nintendo World.
Oh,
So-
I know.
Is that the
Remember,
one
yeah.
with Bowser on the front?
Yeah.
there
Oh,
we go.
that's right. I'm thinking of.
So
I think that Bowser's a dog?
I don't know. I thought you had a dog. I think you do.
He has a
I
watchdog
stand by
shirt.
it.
I have a Watchdog
Yeah,
shirt.
but I swear it's like a red outline of a dog. I don't know.
Are you thinking of Naughty Dog?
Maybe. Is there a dog on your shirt?
They have
I have
paw
a red
print.
paw print.
Maybe. Okay.
I
all
want a Naughty
I'll take
Dog
that.
shirt.
I'll take my money and get out of the casino at this point.
I do want a Naughty Dog shirt because that's would be a really cool shirt. I love that studio.
Yeah.
Want to support them,
Listen up, Naughty Dog.
I know.
I
Hit
feel
us
like
up.
Comic-Con came and went without a peep.
It
I don't-
really did
maybe-
I feel like for video games it did.
Yeah.
I feel like for movies and TV, people are going apeshit, like with the first female
I
Doctor,
mean, see, I
Doctor
feel
Who
like
announced,
even with
and
movies
all
and
the stuff with
TV,
Marvel.
I just heard nothing from
Yeah.
anybody about anything. And I was like, weird.
Yeah, it really was kind of quiet. What did you think about it? Because, the big things were expected. Game of Thrones had a big panel. Walking Dead had a big panel. Marvel had a
Is The
big
Walking
panel.
Dead still on TV?
It is.
It is.
Starting season 8
Oh my God.
in October, I believe.
They need to know when to exit.
I watched.
I had a friend who worked on post-production of Walking Dead.
That's a big job.
I know.
I watched my first ever episode of Game of Thrones on this
yeah?
trip that I went on. Yeah, I
Okay,
watched the
what-
first episode of the new season.
Oh my god!
Oh, so you
what are you doing to yourself?
Yeah, I was like, this show sucks.
What are you doing to yourself?
I have no idea what's going on.
Oh my god!
As everyone wanted to watch it, like just watch it, see what you think, and then everyone's like, you should start at the beginning.
Yeah, you really.
But
should.
before the episode, everyone's like, you're gonna love it, and then after, like, oh, sorry, people like apologize to me.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'd be slapping people all over the place. Like, what did you do?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know.
Hilarious.
Hey, it's a good show, but yeah, if you're starting it at season 7, episode 1, that's a rough road to start. All right. Well, the topic that I was so I had one of two topics that I was going to talk about today, and I finally settled one. The one that I decided not to talk about because I just want to get more into the game and play a little bit more is Pyre came out as of last Tuesday. So it's been out for about a week now that you're listening to this. I've played it some. It's a ton of fun. I want to do a full in-depth review on it, but I want to get more time in the game under my belt before I really go into it. But it's a super fun RPG, super fun combat, if you will, of how the game goes, because it's really more like... I've seen it online, and I tried not to compare it to a sport, but there's really no way to compare it to not
it's
compare it to a sport.
basketball.
It's kind of
Yeah.
basketball.
I
Yeah.
gotta look at.
It's
So-
like
this
super
game.
criminal jail basketball. I don't know how to
But in a
describe
beautiful
it.
What's it
But
called
in a
again?
beautiful way.
Pyre.
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 Yes.
Pyre game.
Yep.
Let me look at this game.
The art is really
Yeah,
beautiful.
art's great, music's great. So I'll get into it further on when I get a little bit more into the game. I'm not totally sure like how far progress wise I'm into it, but I've played for a couple hours for sure.
I remember when you showed us this.
yeah.
I remember when you showed us this. Yep.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. So it came out Tuesday, so I've been playing that.
How
So
much is this game?
$20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
So is that worth it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Did
Definitely
it come
so.
out for Xbox?
But it came out for PC.
Oh.
Oh, so not Xbox or PlayStation.
It came out for PS4. And I don't know if they'll port it to the Xbox. They haven't with their other
Okay, so
games.
it's
I
not
don't think
available.
I feel like that kind of game they should.
they should.
Yeah, it looks
and it's
nice.
only
Yeah.
available for Windows right now, but I'm sure they will come up with a Mac port later. So
Yeah.
whenever that happens, you should definitely. I'll let you know. I'll hit you up and let you know that when it's out for Mac, because it's really fun. So anyway, so I'm not going to talk about that one today. What I did want to talk about though is that I played the Destiny 2 beta.
Ooh, I'm interested to hear about
Fancy.
this.
I thought for sure you would play it too.
Well, he was
think I
gone.
missed
Well,
it.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
He was
He was
gone on his big trip.
On his actual
My
job.
adventure.
Yep,
Yeah.
the job that pays him money.
Yeah, unlike this.
Unlike this, one.
Burn.
Burn Team
pays
Chat.
no one.
No one gets paid. No one benefits.
We do this from the goodness of our hearts.
We've done it for 80 episodes.
Yeah, just about. What is this?
I tell people that, and they're like, good for you. I know. People are like, good job, lad.
What a burn.
Pat on the head.
Well done. Thanks.
Funny.
So I will say this as the first kind of like sounding off statement for this. It is very much Destiny still.
Okay, so just to preface what everything you're about to say from my point of view, I've watched a good amount of videos of people playing it on YouTube, and IGN did like the first 7 minutes of a match and like blah blah blah, and I got the very same feel and look. I was like, oh, it looks like Destiny,
Which-
just is good and maybe bad, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
good and bad, I would say.
Yeah.
The big things about it, like the story though, I am way more into just from the first couple of missions that you play than I was in probably the entirety of the last one.
So the beta offers you the first 2 missions?
I think it's technically the first mission,
Oh,
but it
okay.
has like 2 distinct parts that I thought were 2 different levels. But then they said later in the beta description that it's really just the first opening mission, and then you have other.
Well, that's a
they
good
also
sign,
give you,
I guess.
They give you a strike that you can play, and then they also give you, and then you can play the control mode of a Crucible, and then a new mode that's like a. You are activate either team switches. It's kind of like it's not a not capture the flag, but each team you're either defending these explosive charges or you're trying to set them.
Okay.
So it's just like an objective based
Yeah,
control
it's
thing.
like kind of like Assault in
Oh,
Halo.
that's the one I've seen because I was like, what are these people trying to do with these bombs?
Yeah.
I have seen a little bit of gameplay of that, and I was very confused through the whole thing.
So those are the 4 options that you're given, so that in and of itself. So I played it a lot, and I played a lot of the control. I played the first 2 missions. I played the strike. I played the first mission. I played the strike, and then I played the majority of the control of my time in it. I played the Crucible missions on control, and I really had a lot of fun with it. But it felt also very light for a beta.
Like there wasn't like
Like,
a
yeah,
lot
like
there.
what way?
Yeah, like I don't know. I felt with games like Overwatch, you had a couple different maps to play with. You had the full roster of heroes, but you have the full roster in this sense that you can choose to still be a guardian, hunter, titan, or warlock, and you can have each one. And you can switch in between them, but they obviously didn't roll out the full amount of arsenal of weapons that you could collect or the full armor that you could collect. You didn't level up your character ever. You were just automatically at the max light level that you could be. And so it kind of made playing in the beta feel a little pointless just because you would do a round of control and you would get a reward in a the rare rarity, a rare weapon. But
Would that
I would get
over
duplicates
to the new game?
No, like
Did anything carry over from Destiny 1 into the beta?
No.
Okay, so this hasn't. But for Destiny 2, that will carry over.
No, I don't think so. Remember, because that was the big hullabaloo that came out when people, because they were like, "No, you're resetting completely."
Man,
and remember in the trailer that they showed for it, Cade 6, Nate Fillion's character is like, "They destroyed our guns, they destroyed our loot." Like very much obvious. Like, hey, this is why this happened.
You know, I actually like that.
I kind of do too,
because I thought Destiny 1 was such a flub up, and like I was so out of it by the end of it that I'm glad they're like burning everything. It sounds like, and we're going to start over, and like and it's like kind of a start over, but it's kind of also going off of maybe this is like it's a new story, and I get that, and I actually think that's a great idea because building off Destiny 1, there's nothing really to build off of.
Right, and they had they had the 3 expansions for that one, and so it would have just maybe felt like a more a more grander expansion pack, I guess. So resetting it for me, and also for the people who fell off, because if you if you came into that and were able to import and that was like your character, then you're still going to be facing all these people who have been grinding for years since the game came out, getting all this massive gear. And so you're going to run into I would feel like you would run into a major imbalance.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, there are going to be a ton.
Thing that other games do?
What?
Allow you to preserve all of your data from a first game?
You can with some RPGs.
Yeah, there's games that allow you to do that.
But those aren't competitive based.
That's true.
So I don't understand why this would be a problem in any sense.
I think just because a lot of people are ticked off that they spent so much time grinding.
They did it for Mass Effect, but yeah.
But Mass Effect is a continue. Well, yeah, but again, it's not a competitive game.
Yeah, you're not playing against other people. Per se.
But there's two. The way I see Destiny is like any other game, a campaign and the competitiveness. Those are easily,
except
I think,
in
they kind of blend.
They blend sometimes. Yeah. You have the cooperative strikes. You can run the whole story campaign in cooperative.
Yeah, that's true. Which was sort of an issue in the first one. People they tried to nerf weapons that were good in campaign and for the multiplayer. I don't know. It was for Destiny, for me, it always seemed like the strategy and the idea behind it is like, that looks great on paper, and then execute when you put it together, it's like, oh, it's weird. Yeah. It's like lacking in the RPG and the competitive. Right. Both go down, both suffer because of it. So I hope, and maybe more, that the Destiny 2 seems to be
more balanced.
More balanced in the sense of like, I don't know how you make that stuff work.
I mean, it seemed to be in what I played, especially in the control mode. I was playing a hunter because I just like that better. They updated their supers and everything and added a few more super abilities, and I liked the hunter still. Like the one that I was using the most with the hunter is you still have the one where you can do where it basically like creates you're all in flame and you shoot like one shot hits kind of thing. Yeah. But the one that they did now that I was using is you're basically have a electric staff weapon, and it was really cool. I was able to I recorded some screenshots, some videos of when I would do it, be able to hit the objective when the opponents were all there and like wipe out the whole team.
Nice.
So it was really sweet. It was really fun. It's still really fun to play. Like I really liked the multiplayer. Of Destiny.
Well, yeah, Bungie are so good at making, and I've said this about the first one. It's fun to play.
Yeah,
like the first person experience they create is good.
Right,
and that is one strong attribute of the Destiny series.
And like what we talked about though, with the downfall of why we didn't like the first Destiny is that you just got caught so much up into the grinding of everything.
It was just
and I was just like, I just don't have time for this.
Yeah, and it's like, what am I working towards? There's no like, I need to work towards something,
right?
And these stuff needs to mean something to me, and like they didn't put that in there. There was no meaning behind anything.
No, so it was very
and that goes with the story, and it looks like the new one has a lot more story, a lot more characters, more cinematics, and more conflict, and that's the bad guy, here's the good guy, right?
Yeah, and you meet the bad guy, which is nice that in this one the main bad guy is the Cabal, who are the big like bulky and hulky guys, which I honestly thought were the weakest enemies
too.
of
I thought
first
they were like
Destiny.
the easiest. They
You
were
were,
like
because they
just-
were so big, you could
they're-
easily headshot them.
Yep,
You could
and they're
easily
like,
jump around, and
"Oh."
they're slow.
They seem dumb.
Well, they went to a training camp
Yeah,
between
they got
Destinies
better.
1 and 2, and
I
they
like
all
the
got
original.
better.
I like the
Well, this is like an elite.
Unforgivables. What are they? The Forgotten. The Damned.
The Fallen.
The Fallen.
We're getting there.
I like the Fallen.
I did too. They were a lot of fun.
They were cool. I like the Vex. And what were the other ones? The Vex,
Cabal,
the
and-
the Fallen. Is that it?
I think so. No.
Maybe that's it.
Well, I mean, later they introduced the Taken and stuff like that, which were like possessed versions. I know there is one more that I can't think
Like
of. I think.
Krotos.
But anyway, so we got into it. You met the main baddie of Destiny 2, this Cabal commander named Gull, and what he's able to do is like the opening mission is he assaults the tower, destroys the tower, and is able to
Gull does?
yeah,
Wow.
and is able to steal the light from the Guardians, which the light was given to them by the Traveler, the
Yeah.
big white orb,
Yeah.
and that's what allows them to resurrect from death
Yeah.
and all that and all their other super abilities that they have. So
Yeah.
Gaul steals that in the beginning. So you're kind of like, okay, so where
That's
does this
good.
go from here?
Yeah, at least there's
it-
like good, inciting incident that like, okay, let's
other than in
do
the
this.
first Destiny of this big evil's coming at you.
Yeah, the darkness.
Yeah, the darkness. The darkness.
That's what it
is
was
coming.
called. That's what it was called.
It was pretty. The enemy was
darkness.
the set was set up pretty weak. So
that is
it
pretty
was-
lame.
Yeah. So it was so this is definitely a step up in terms of story. I really enjoy the story.
Good.
The first strike that I played was really good, although my main complaint is that the final boss did still feel very bullet spongy.
Yeah, I hate that.
Just
But
the final boss of the beta, right?
yeah, of the strike, because Destiny has these strikes, which are these missions you can run over and over, and they always have like a different boss. I mean, they have the same boss at the end, but each strike has a different boss.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
gotcha.
strike is.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
was like, that
Sorry, that was a very
it
very
makes sense now.
convoluted way
I
to
made
explain that.
I made the connections.
And so the boss of this strike felt very bullet spongy.
Yeah.
But still, they introduced new Cabal enemies that you fight. Like one, it was called a Gladiator, and it's this big hulking guy with a lot of armor, and he has two swords, and he like gets really close.
cool.
And so I felt like the enemies were a lot more varied in what they threw at you than in the
Yeah.
first one. But still very enjoyable. And then, like I said, the multiplayer was still a lot of fun. I didn't necessarily I felt in the first Destiny that Titans could be a little bit OP than
I heard they've
anybody
slowed
else.
them down.
Yeah, they weren't. I didn't run into quite. I mean, obviously they're still powerhouses. And they can do a lot of damage and stuff, and their physicals and their specials are obviously very effective. But it felt a lot more balanced. Like I felt like I didn't have to have only a shotgun to win. I could face people who had shotguns or rocket launchers and everything. They added more of the super weapons, the power weapons, where like I had a grenade launcher, which they didn't have in Destiny 1, which was really fun to use. I liked using that a lot.
Yeah.
And the control map also felt smaller, which I know that they all vary in size, but this one was smaller. It felt smaller, and which made for more combat frequently and seemed to be more high paced action than
Cool.
what I ran into a lot. So I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. It definitely, like I said, it definitely felt very Destiny 1.
Yeah.
But I think
It looks Destiny 1. Like, it doesn't, like,
which I think is what they needed to keep.
and that's fine. Like, I think games today, like, I think that's a fine route to go. But I'm coming from a place where the sequel is going to look better. It's like the HUD's going to be different.
Right.
Yeah.
The movement's going to be different. They're going to enhance this. That's kind of going out the door for a lot of games, I think.
Yeah. And I will say that the one thing that slightly was annoying is I felt like in Destiny 1 you would get your super a lot. and
I'm sorry, your
frequently.
what now?
Your superpower.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You would get it really quickly, or not quickly, but you would be able to use it multiple times during a match. And this one, I don't know if they changed the mechanics of how you collect it or how you get it, but I would maybe get it once. And at the very end of the
Oh, it took
of
that
the
long.
round. Yeah, and
Wow.
like not just me, everybody. Like you
Oh,
didn't see
interesting.
supers popping until the very end.
Interesting.
So that was one thing. I was kind of like, I have this. I want to be able to use it more
Yeah.
than just once, and maybe not. Like some rounds I would play it, I wouldn't even get to use it. So I was kind of hoping that that I would be able to have a little bit more use of my super, but that might change depending on what skills and abilities you unlock and different stuff like that. So that could just be coming from that's the beta and that's how it's going to be. Bungie also stated that the beta was based off a build that is a few months old, so the final game could have very different mechanics than what I ran into.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm still interested enough that I'll probably buy Destiny 2. and play it because like we said, I did enjoy the first one, and I hear that they did make changes I've heard that they did make changes with how you won't have to grind near as much. You're guaranteed better loot more often, and different things like that. So if that makes it easier to play and easier to get these things where you don't have to spend hours upon hours upon hours replaying the same levels and strikes and everything over and over and over again to get the good stuff. That's why I quit playing it.
Wow.
Nothing left to do.
And so hopefully it'll be better, but it looks a lot of fun.
I'm sure it looks like they're listening to their fans and they're making adjustments where they hear that they need to. That's what it seems like.
Yep.
I will go on ahead and make a prediction. I won't buy Destiny 2.
I figured
and
as
I
much.
won't care.
Are you 100% going to buy it?
I probably will, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Okay. But I am trying to decide, do I get it for Xbox or do I get it for PS4?
Yeah. PS4, you get like a little bit extra, don't you?
You do?
I mean,
They give you like a gun or something.
no,
They give you like a gun or
they
something.
give you some Destiny
give you some
has like
perk.
some exclusives with PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like you got to play the beta a day earlier if you were a PS4. But no, it's just more. It's more. The question is, am I going to have more
Friends on
friends
PlayStation
to
or
play?
Xbox?
Yeah,
and I don't know if I'm going to get
play
it.
Are they
So-
putting Destiny 2 on the Switch, perhaps?
No, but it is going.
I
to
wouldn't
PC.
even buy it
is
for
going
Switch.
to PC.
I don't
So-
have a PC, I have a Mac.
I know. I'm just saying.
Useless.
For anybody who wants to play it on PC, it's on
That's
PC.
true. That's
through
true.
Battle.net.
Oh.
Blizzard's the one hosting it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
them.
Good for them.
Good
I
little
wonder how they
partnership.
worked out that weird deal.
I don't know, but they did.
Well, whatever.
But they did.
But
Blizzard
they
can
did.
do anything they
It's
want.
happening.
All right. So who wants to kick off our next fun topic?
I have so many thoughts and feelings about Splatoon 2.
Do it.
Go
Give us-
ahead.
I finally
Share.
have somebody that I can actually talk to about it,
Let's
and
talk
you'll
all-
mostly understand.
Let's talk all
Alright,
about
this
it.
Get
is
the
a first.
mechanics and stuff. Okay, so I do want to start by just telling all of our listeners, many of whom are in the Splatoon community, because I'm always like, "Hey guys, by the way, I have a super cool podcast, and here
That's
it is."
good.
And they're
Getting the
like,
word
"Oh
out
my
there."
God, that's so cool.
We get it, Mogan.
So Jerrett does not play with the motion controls.
Do not, and I'm not ashamed.
And I support that.
Thank you.
is
Thank you.
just-
By playing one round with motion controls
It
was
makes me
hell.
cringe
No.
to watch.
No.
Oh, I can't do it. I cannot.
I can't
play
do it with motion controls.
Yeah, I know.
Although I will
But
say,
you did good.
I
When
did
you
just do
actually
good when we played it.
practiced.
Yeah,
you got to practice.
But you're gonna
man.
you do 10 times better without it. I
I
think.
mean, actually, not really.
Oh,
After
really?
that last round we played before we started recording, I
the
actually
same?
did about the same. So I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
maybe.
you just have to practice. It is. I promise you, it is so much better with the motion control.
Okay, well, the thing that I was saying, that I said to you, I won't sidetrack this too much, but was that when I first started playing it, I was playing it in handheld mode, which the motion
Right.
controls threw it off a lot because when you tilt the screen up or down, to look up or down, you're tilting your actual screen. So that got very confusing trying to watch that. But now I understand, like, if it's in, if you're using the lever to support it, stand up, and you're like hand holding a controller using the Pro Controller or have it docked for the TV, then it's a lot easier to do it with the motion controls.
I would want to see you play it with the actual Switch in your hands because my suspicion, based on how I saw you play, is that you're not using camera positioning
Probably
to
not,
its
no.
fullest extent. Repositioning the camera is a really important part of being able to maneuver the camera around rapidly enough to actually be able to fully understand your surroundings.
Yeah.
So the thing that just baffles my mind is you're just not moving enough. You're just not moving around fast enough. But that is besides the point. So as far as the actual gameplay goes, you got it?
Yeah, I was just adjusting your levels.
As far as the actual gameplay goes, there are things about Splatoon 2 that feel so familiar, it's like that. It's like picking it right back up. And there are other parts of it that feel very different and very new. So for starters, and you kind of mentioned this when we were talking about the game earlier, Splatoon 2, in actual practice, in theory it doesn't have this. In actual practice, this game racks up kills faster than ever in Splatoon 1.
Really?
In the first Splatoon, I mean, kills were important and they were definitely a part of gameplay, but they weren't happening with the frequency that they are in Splat 2. In Splat 2, even me, and I wasn't even like that aggressive in Splatoon 1, I get like 15 to 20 kills every match. And it's just like, wow, is this how it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
And so does everybody else. I mean, it's just crazy how often you're dying and how often other people are dying as well. And that affects things like map control and if you're playing the ranked objectives, how you're moving and or holding the objective. So there's a lot of things about it that feel I guess I would just say more aggressive.
Yeah.
It feels like gameplay overall for Splat 2 is just so much more aggressive than it was in Splatoon 1. And that could be maybe just my gameplay style has also changed because I now play other slightly more competitive games like Overwatch and stuff. Maybe that's affected how
Just
I
taking out that
play.
aggression.
Maybe. That could be it. I get real salty whenever I'm playing the game, all the salt. But it feels a lot more fast-paced in some ways and just very aggressive. And as far as the weapons go, I feel like they support that. So the gear, you may or may not have noticed, they have all the slots with different abilities. You wouldn't know this from Splatoon 1, but they changed and removed and added a lot of new and different abilities. So the abilities that carried over, like Special Charge Up, Defense Up, a couple of others, Swim Speed Up, Run Speed Up, they maintained their existence in Splat 2, but even their own, I guess you would say, effectiveness has been tweaked for the new game. So, for example, Special Charge Up, which fills your special gauge faster, depending on how much ground you're inking, that one has been pretty nerfed. It doesn't seem to have nearly as much effect as it did in the past games. The same goes for Special Duration Up. It just doesn't seem to have as much of an effect. So there's a lot that they seem to have done in tweaking the abilities attached to gear that has really changed the way that you're playing. Ability stacking doesn't seem to be, at least not yet, as common, but people are still trying to tweak the rolls. That you can re-roll your slots.
No, I haven't got that far yet.
So actually, it's probably just that you haven't talked to him. There's a guy in the plaza that's like, he's a little sea urchin, and he's got like spiky purple hair.
Okay.
He will allow you to re-roll certain slots on your gear. So for example, if you get an ability, because they're randomly generated depending on what type of gear it is. If you get an ability that you don't like, you can go to him, pay a certain amount or whatever, and re-roll that slot to get, hopefully, fingers crossed, a different ability. So some people are going back again and again and again, the really top competitive players, to get the abilities that they really want or need.
Yeah.
Because it just depends on what weapon you're using and what maps you're on and what gear you need and what abilities you need. And it's just wild. It's a wild time. And I missed it. Like, I missed Splatoon, even though I've been playing it the whole time.
There's nothing.
It's nice to have something new to play.
Oh my
It's
gosh!
nice to have
There's
a new...
nothing better than like loving a game and then releasing a sequel. It's like you get to play the game over again in a way, but you also you don't feel like, I don't know, there's a weird guilt like playing the original over and over, and then the new one, it's like everything's fresh and different,
It's
a
like,
little different, but it's also the same.
different.
That's like with Halo and like moving, it's like a little different, but it's actually a lot different.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's the same, and there's like a core value that they adhere to, and you respect it.
And I feel like Splatoon has they haven't lost any of like the Splatoon in-game culture.
Yeah.
Like, your Inklings are still ultra fashion obsessed. They're all about that chill life. And it's like, me too, Inklings, me too. I'm with you. And they also, of course, added a whole new single-player campaign. So single player mode, they updated the story. So I'm not going to do any spoilers about the story mode because I know
haven't
that
started
people,
that yet.
Yeah, because a lot of people are still very much in progress. So I'm not going to really spoil anything about it, other than say it's really good. Single player mode, at least on the initial run, you are assigned a particular type of weapon. So it's not like you can change your gear. You just have gear that you use for that amount of time. But the amiibo, at least in the last game, and I think they might in this game as well, allow you to unlock different usable weapons in single-player mode, and thereby get new things, which you then hopefully later unlock in regular gameplay. So that's kind of the idea of single-player mode, is that you're playing it to unlock some pretty cool gear that you can then take with you over in stuff like regular turf battle.
Nice.
So single player mode, as far as platforming goes, excellent. Just as good as the first game.
I didn't know the first one had single player.
Yes.
I thought it was just a multiplayer
No,
only.
it had single player. How I approached it was like, oh, this is a really long extended tutorial. Just because my mindset wasn't really getting it, I guess. But in Splatoon 2, I am very much approaching it as, this is single-player mode. This is supposed to be its own contained thing. It's supposed to be fun, and it very much is. The platforming is excellent. The mechanics are really fun. It's fast-paced, and the enemies are really interesting. I've only fought, I think, 2 of the bosses so far, and the boss at the end of the first little area, the first hub for the single-player mode, as ridiculous as you would hope. And without spoilers, I've heard from other people people that have already finished campaign. They're like, dude, you got to get to the final boss, man. It's crazy. It's so wild. And I don't know if you remember, but in Splatoon 1, one of my favorite final bosses ever, which we talked about in one of our episodes, was the Splat 1 final boss, because I was like, this is wild. It's so fun. They really make such a good... I mean, just everything is there. The music is there. The gameplay is there. The colors and the lighting, you're like...
It's a cool game.
It's like being in a rave all the time. It's just like, this is exactly what I wanted from my gaming experience.
And you just let me play one round. That's the first time I ever played it, and I really like the mechanics. The whole idea...
Gotta get it.
I know. The whole idea of splattering to get points, it's very wholesome, obviously. It's very innocent, and I actually like, I think that's fine. And the way to traverse in the ink is actually super imaginative, super creative, and that's a great dynamic.
I noticed that when you played, you were standing very still.
Well, that's because they put me on the motion control, and I was like just standing trying to do this.
Throw motion controls
hell
on
on
a
earth.
Halo player, and it just cripples them.
Oh God!
I was like, is this how Call of Duty is? That's what I was
why
thinking.
he's so good?
He's like, yeah, look, I'm about to kick some ass. Like, Zach's actually not that
It's
good.
like, he's not good.
Admit it.
I saw a meme the other day that was a picture of Splatoon, and it said "made for kids, played by adults," and then a picture of Call of Duty, and it was like "made for adults, played by kids."
Burn.
Bam. I love it.
Now,
So
I
true.
will say that some of the cons of the game, actually, before I get to that, I will talk on Salmon Run.
Okay.
So I know that you haven't played it yet, but Salmon Run, and we talked about it after one of the Nintendo Directs was announced. So this was something that they had obviously very much advertised before the game came out. Salmon Run is a totally new mode that was nowhere in Splatoon 1. It is a 4-player solely cooperative mode. So, in ranked and in just regular turf war, it's 4v4 all online. In Salmon Run, it's still 4 people online, but you are versus basically a horde. So you can kind of think of it like a zombie run or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So in Salmon Run, you and your other people are just trying to slaughter these poor creatures called salmonids. And they look pretty evil, but you get the feeling that you're probably not practicing good business ethics by perhaps slaughtering them so brutally to steal their eggs of their baby
Oh my
salmonids.
God, that's so dark.
Which you then give to a suspicious bear statue named Mr. Grizz who talks to you, and he's like,
I
come
like
to
this.
Papa.
I like
It's weird. It's like, no,
sounds,
Mr. Grizz.
Sounds a little dark.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
kinda like
bad. He's very creepy. It's
Little
very
sexual.
sketch.
Mr.
But
Grizz.
anyways, so it's a lot harder than you might think. So Salmon Run is set up in 3 waves. So you and your team are trying to meet a quota of how many eggs that you collect and get into the basket for each round. I think the quota is almost always between 7 and I think maybe 12 to 13 eggs. And if you overshoot your quota, that's great. You just get more points at the end of the round,
Or Mr.
which
Grizz
adds
gets
to
more
your
points
rank.
at the end of
Mr.
the round.
Grizz gets more points. He's a creeper. But the waves do also get progressively more difficult. The first time I played Salmon Run must have been a fluke because I finished all 3 rounds and I was like, wow, that was really easy. Every game after that, I've been like, holy shit, this is so hard. I don't know what
They knew.
happened.
It
Maybe
learned.
I just got significantly worse. I don't know what the deal is, but wave 1, super easy, super breezy. Wave 2, a little bit harder. You can almost certainly make it. Wave 3, even with really good players and a lot of communication, there's still a high likelihood that you're not going to succeed.
Oh, wow.
Because essentially, if everyone on your team dies or you don't make quota for any of the rounds, it's game over. You just lose. And you'd be surprised at the frequency that happens. I also had one of the very, very few experiences of someone rage quitting.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Rage
In
quitting
Splatoon?
Yeah, in
Dude.
Splatoon. And I was like, sir, this is a wholesome
Yeah.
game. That is not
appropriate.
acceptable behavior. He legit rage quit. And me and the other 3 people were like, what just happened?
Fuck this game.
We were like, no one's
Fuck this
ever
game. Fuck y'all.
rage quit in
I'm out.
Splatoon before. It was
You got to control
wild.
rage quitting with the Switch because if you get mad enough to throw your controller, you could be throwing your whole console.
And those
depending on how you're
controllers are
playing.
expensive.
know.
You gotta conserve.
I'm glad I got
Gotta
the Pro
put those
controller as a
wrist
birthday
straps
present.
nice
I was
and
like, "Whoa."
firmly on.
Nunchucks.
Nunchucks. Yeah, so Salmon Run is definitely a really fun new way to experience the game with friends without having to also slaughter your other friends, which is good for everybody's feelings and future relationships.
Good. All good things.
And then kind of the biggest con of the game that I've encountered so far is actually ranked. So they changed a lot of the dynamics of how ranked works. So in Splatoon 1, you had 3 different ranked modes. You had Rainmaker, Splat Zones, and Tower Control. All 3 of those transitioned into Splatoon 2, but basically as their own separate entities. So in ranked in Splat 1, you could go from C- to S+ solely through tower control splat zones and what's the other one that I said? Rainmaker. And Rainmaker. In Splatoon 2, you can be a C- in tower control. You can be an A+ in splat zones. You can be a B- in Rainmaker. They have basically separated the three of them out, and you have to rank up individually depending on the mode. That in and of itself, I'm not really fully on board with that. I still think that it was a little bit better when they had them all conglomerated into one cohesive rank. I kind of understand why they may have done it, but I don't particularly like it from a personal perspective quite yet. And as a result, I know that a lot of pro and competitive players are really frustrated because tower control in particular is just an apocalypse nightmare in ranked. You, like, the minute you get within a foot of the tower, you're dead. It is just a slaughter fest, which is really not how the game is supposed to be played. But just the kills, and again, this aggressive gameplay is so concentrated on specifically tower control that it really kind of makes it the most salt-inducing mode by a long shot. And I know that a lot of really, really skilled players are really struggling with tower control, and it's like, God, this blows.
Maybe it's turn off motion control and then they could be better.
No, I don't think that's what it is. I think you're wrong about that. But so Splat Zones and Rainmaker, those are both still pretty fun. They did change a few of the dynamics about Rainmaker, some of which is kind of good and some is bad. So I would say that overall ranked, at least for me, is my least favorite part of the game so far. But again, that's just because I'm not like super good.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be a little salt-inducing for me. Whereas Salmon Run and Turf War, still a million bazillion hours of fun.
Nice.
10 out of 10 would recommend. Please use the motion controls. Do yourself a favor.
I'm learning.
Please use them.
I'm learning to use the motion controls. I'm getting better with them as we saw. But no, so this is my first time. I did not play Splatoon 1. I have a Switch now, so I'm playing Splatoon 2, and I very much love it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like I got it when I got the game finally. I put it in and was playing with it. Probably played it for a couple of hours then, and have come back to it several times throughout the week. Obviously, Pyre came out, so I've had to share my time a little bit between the two, and then also Doomfist this week came out too, so I had to just play that a little bit.
I know.
And so you know, but no, I've really enjoyed the time, and it was one that I was kind of on the fence about. Like, I was like, I see it. I see the potential.
I see it.
But
I see you.
I see you.
I don't know if I'm going to like
trust you.
You know, so but no, I was pleasantly surprised how much
Yeah.
I do enjoy the game.
And,
so you need to get it, sir.
Yeah, I do. So
And
we can
then
all
we
play.
can
all
finally
play.
all play. I will. Did you didn't have a lot of weapons when I was playing on your
I
account.
haven't really bought that many.
So just to give you an FYI, up until a certain rank, the more you level up, the more weapons will be available to you.
Okay.
So that's just an FYI. The higher rank you are, the better gear you're able to buy with
Yeah,
like
because right now
those
the
3
gear and
slots.
stuff that I have is pretty.
Yeah,
just
no,
meh.
the gear is really weak when you're low level because it's meant to scale with you. So do try to grind just a little bit to level up to like at least 15 because
Okay.
that's when you're going to start to get the more fun and better variety of weapons. Because you haven't been able to try sloshers yet, the buckets.
Yeah, I've seen people use them, but no, I haven't got to use
So
it yet.
sloshers are really fun. The brushes, they're
I do wanna try the
infuriating.
brushes.
They're really fun, but they're infuriating to play against. So I think you're going to find that the different play styles really are very unique, and I think you're really going to like it.
Nice. Oh yeah, I definitely need to get into those.
Yes. So much fun. I love Splatoon.
Well, before we move on to Zach's topic, do we want to do moment with
I
Mogan?
do have some stuff and fluff. Yay. So, I guess we'll start with news. So, I don't know if you guys saw the debacle about Pokemon Go Fest.
I did hear about this.
Ooh, did
happened?
you?
No.
You were doing an actual job. I forgive you for not hearing about it. So Pokemon Go is actually still a thing that people play. And in Chicago, just a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even just 1 week ago,
2 weeks probably by the time this
yeah,
comes
by
out.
the time this comes out, they had a Pokemon Go festival that was officially sponsored by Niantic, and it was supposed to be an event where you could get special legendaries that they hadn't released until then. Blah blah blah. So people like traveled to this event. They like bought tickets for it. They may have spent a lot of money trying to get from point A to point B. And then at the festival, the cell towers and the Wi-Fi weren't enough, and the game servers, the servers for the game weren't strong enough to handle the traffic. They basically totally crashed.
Wow.
The game itself was unplayable, and that was the whole point
Wow.
of the
Of this,
event.
because it was like all these people come
Whoa.
together. Which I will say, the good
Yes.
thing is, like, I heard the tickets are only like $20.
Oh, yeah, I don't think
so
they
it
were
wasn't a lot
expensive.
like to get in,
Yeah.
but obviously people who travel very long distances
Yeah.
to get there,
Yeah.
kind of got a little screwed over
Yeah,
there.
so they did get a little screwed over. So some of those people that were especially perturbed have actually filed lawsuits against Niantic, and it's like, man,
That's taking it a little far.
It's
I
taking
get
it a
it
little-
if it's
Get
like
it.
that
Yeah.
fire festival that was supposed to happen, that exclusive music festival that turned out that like these gourmet dinners people got there, and there was like it was a piece of white bread with cheese on it. You know, and all the, you need to look that up.
That
It's
Oh,
sounds
you gotta look it
hilarious.
up. It was hilarious.
Oh, I know what you're talking. I know that festival you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
I
yeah.
Wasn't
do.
it in Jamaica? Where
Yeah,
was
that
it?
was
Yeah,
like
somewhere like that.
a whole load of
Oh, it
bullshit.
was
Oh, it was
fantastic.
crazy.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that level of bad. And so people who went to Fire Festival, yes, have every right to be suing and trying to get some kind of compensation
Yeah.
back.
I think they're still there.
You
I think
probably
they're still
are.
trapped.
They're just stuck.
They're just
So
stuck.
that might be a little overboard for Pokemon Go Fest, but
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand getting there and that being a huge hassle. And apparently, like the things got better. It wasn't that way for the whole festival. Like near
Yeah.
the end, you were able to play and do that. They were able to fix some of the problems, but I mean, yeah. so-
Yeah, I mean, it does seem
It's
like
a
the kind
mobile
of
game,
thing
everybody.
that
Let's
they
calm
should have-
down.
Yeah, that's very true. And then, in case you missed it, the new Nintendo 2DS XL has just come out today, actually. So on the day of recording, it has come out. By the time this episode airs, it's been about a week. So the new Nintendo 2DS XL. So this is basically the scaled down version of the 3DS, simply in the fact that it doesn't have the 3D capabilities. In my book, that is a plus.
Yeah.
That's what I've always
That's
heard.
a-
No,
yeah.
I've never
Yeah,
really
it's
heard
a
anybody
plus.
who
It
was
is
big on the
absolutely a
3D.
plus. So the difference here is the original 2DS was basically like a flat tablet that you could not fold. The new 2DS is basically it's just a 3DS that doesn't have the 3D. That is a plus right there. So it has all of the capabilities of the 3DS XL. It just happens to not have the 3D. Everyone should buy it if they still are on board with 3DS games. They're obviously all going to be compatible with it, and it's at a price of only $150.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
So it's obviously way more affordable, has all the same features, all the same games, arguably a significantly better deal. And then in other Splatoon news, Splatoon 2 is the top-selling Switch game in Japan, period.
Wow.
It beat
Beating
Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart 8.
Wow.
Now that's
for
just in
that.
Japan, so the worldwide sales I don't think they've published yet, but still,
That's
that's
impressive,
pretty
though.
That's
impressive.
really impressive.
That's pretty impressive. And then coming soon, of course, we have Tacoma. We talked a little bit about this one last time. It's from the makers of Gone Home, coming out for Xbox One and PC August 2nd. We also have Lawbreakers. That's finally debuting for
Yep.
PC August 8th.
The closed beta, the open beta for that is going on currently. So I mean, by the
nice.
time you listen to this, it's over.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to play, I'm going to try to maybe play it a little bit more this weekend.
I have 100% interest
definitely
in
not your cup of tea.
Lawbreakers. No. Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 is coming out for PS4, Xbox One, and PC August 8th, and Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice.
Okay, now that I'm fairly excited for, actually.
Are you being sarcastic?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, like I've seen they released a new trailer today, the day of recording, and I've seen just gameplay footage of it. For one, graphics look fucking incredible,
I have heard nothing about this game. even
and the
slightly.
combat system looks very interesting as well. I'm not sure on like the length or anything of it because it is only retailing at $30. So I'm not sure of how big of a game it is, but graphically, from what I've seen, and the combat is interesting enough that it has my attention.
Okay.
Fascinating. So, anyways, that is coming out on, what did I say, PS4 and PC August 8th as well. So, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. Interesting. Is this like a horror survival game? What is this?
No, it looks like I honestly don't know that much about it, but if I had to guess, it has something
this is
to
what's
do.
her face. This is Aloy.
It's not.
This
no,
game is a
and
ripoff.
Copyright infringement.
it looks maybe it has something to do with like Valhalla, maybe.
Sure.
Good day to die, Valhalla.
I'm not.
It's good day to die.
Yeah, Valhalla.
That is such a
Do you
good
know
joke.
what that? Fat Oswald. Have you seen that joke? It's
Got a
totally
bunch of
deep.
Vikings on board.
Yeah.
Good day to die, Valhalla.
Got a bunch of Vikings on board today. Let's spit in God's face.
Let's spit in God's face
Talk
for
about getting on
5
a-
hours.
Let's talk about getting on an airplane.
Oh my God,
Good
that
day
is
to
one
die,
of the
Valhalla.
funniest sets of
We have heard
jokes.
that.
Okay, anyways, that's the moment.
Nah, woo.
I want a T-shirt of that. Good day to die,
Yeah.
Valhalla.
I'm sure it's out
Good
there.
day to die,
If not, you
Valhalla.
can make it for pennies, I'm sure. All right, Zach. So what is your topic for today?
So I will keep it pretty short because I have not been playing any games the last 2 weeks.
Been slacking for 2 weeks.
I've been
He has a
slacking
great
in the game,
excuse.
in the gaming
Trapped
department
with-
of my life.
Quit giving him excuses.
Yeah, he
If it's
is
important
done
to him,
with
he would have found a way.
Pennies and no
Can I hook up my
Wi-Fi.
Xbox, boss man?
But what I have managed to do, and I'll talk about this in as much detail as I can, is I'm revisiting Metal Gear Solid.
Oh.
So I started over.
Didn't they just released a new update
Oh,
where
they
you
did?
can play as that character Ocelot?
You can?
Yes.
Ooh.
Now I don't know the particulars of it. It was literally just a headline that I saw on Twitter,
Oh,
which is what
interesting.
I do at my own job.
You can play as Ocelot. That's
yeah,
pretty
so
cool.
they
He's a
released.
great
I
character.
guess it's in some mode or something,
Yeah.
but yeah, Ocelot now a playable character.
I will totally do that. Basically, I did the beginning 2 missions. And
So you played Ground Zeros, and then
I
the
didn't do
first
ground,
mission.
I did the hospital.
the true first
here.
mission.
Yeah. Wait a minute. The timeline. I'm already confused. I did when you escape the hospital and when you rescue Miller. And those
Okay.
are kind of the first 2 missions that you get to do. And basically, all I wanted to say is I don't know if I ever did I think I did a full review for this game.
I believe you
last
did,
year
yeah.
when it came out. Did I do that?
I remember
Sure
the
you did.
review
If
being
not,
bad.
you talked
Give it like a 6 out of 10.
vague.
just vague. It was like he hadn't even
Games
played
are
it.
okay, I
In
guess.
fact, he just finished it.
Even if you didn't give a full review, I mean, you've told us about like the parts where there's like the infection on the
Yeah.
on mother
Mother base?
mother base. And,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
all
that was a good
Oh, that's a great
part.
gaming moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
You have
yes.
to
I
kill
think that's
all
when
your
you talked
soldiers.
about-
I think
Oh,
that's why. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
It's been long enough.
Yeah. And the hospital scene at the beginning and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
so
when you
good.
meet interacting with Quiet later
first
on. So yeah.
interaction.
So
It's
even
great.
if you haven't given a full official review of it,
I might do
I think
a
he did,
revisit
though.
review. I might have. We should look back and see. I'm sure I did.
Yeah, you might. You
But
must
anyways,
have. Because you really enjoy the game. Honestly, enough to come back to
Yeah,
play it
and
again.
I don't often I replay Halo, but I don't often will replay games. But Metal Gear Solid. So when I was on this trip, even a little bit before that, I kind of rewatched the IGN review for it, and I rewatched a couple other things, and I was like, man, this is a good game.
Yeah.
It really deserves another playthrough. And the IGN review really nails it. And controversially, they gave it a 10 out of 10, which some people loved, and some people were like, "How dare they?" And I'm with them on board. And I forget who reviewed it, but the main point he makes is like it encapsulates what a video game should be in its best form, and
Yeah.
that's really kind of going into the games are different, obviously, but for this one, going into a base and the really unlimited ways that things can go down. And it's true, it's so detail oriented, and I kind of forgotten how detail oriented it is, and that's what makes it so special. Like the billions of micro things that happen, like the day to night cycle, the soldiers going to sleep, new soldiers coming in, you upgrade, they upgrade a little bit. Like you get a lot of headshots, they start wearing face masks. Like these they just
Oh,
go
wow.
on, and you kill a guy and there's a guy on the radio. It's like, hey, what's going on? Are you awake? And there's no response. That triggers an alarm. They're just on and on about like a guy. You put a guy to sleep. He lands in a puddle. He drowns. It's unbelievable the amount of detail they put into this game.
That's crazy.
I know, and I haven't like fully explored that in my new playthrough. But two things that really stuck out to me was the complexity of like how. Basically, Ocelot is one of the first guys you meet. And he's like, and it's this kind of blends into my second point. It's so damn cool. It is such a cool game, and it's so this Hideo Kojima style of just everything's written by him, directed by him. It's everywhere, and one of the coolest things I picked up on that I didn't really, not that I didn't pick up on before, but I'm like, look, that's so cool. It's as they're riding their horses into the first mission, he's talking to you. The camera's like, doing all these cool things. It's dusty and it's just so epic just for them riding. And it's like starring, Punished Venom Snake, and that's you, and starring Ocelot. That's he's like, I'm Ocelot. And it's like the timeline's all fucked up, and I'm sure people would get it and I don't understand the timeline for Metal Gear Solid, but it's super like you've met Ocelot before, so he's like when he says I'm Ocelot, it's just weird, first of all. But it like pans into his face, and he's talking to you, and like right next to his sunglasses, it's like JF Ray sunglasses. And JF Ray is a real sunglass designer, and you can buy those sunglasses.
Oh, wow.
They were advertising
How's that for product
Yeah, I know. They were
placement?
advertising his sunglasses, and then he hands you another pair, and he's like, keep these. Miller's going to want them. And it's like, JF Ray sunglasses.
Oh, man.
And it's like, you can go online and buy those sunglasses. And it's like, that's so cool.
I can't believe you don't
and
own
stylish.
those.
I was just looking at some. They were like
I'm gonna go look
$400.
at those right
They were
now.
super like,
No,
it's just
they are
so
not.
cool. It is such a cool
Only
little
elite
feature.
Do they make
can wear
women's
those.
styles?
So yeah, that's one thing, and even the cutscenes before that, I forgot how. I get like a staggering amount of respect for the work that went into just the cinematics alone. It is super cinematic. It's like a movie, and it has like everything seems to have such purposeful movement, like just with the camera and what it shows you and what it doesn't show you. It's such a cinematic way of thinking. And I know the story of Hideo Kojima even wanting to be a filmmaker before getting into video games, so I know that's still in his blood somewhere. But replaying it is really different. I'm already having a different experience, because before I was like, what's kind of going on? I'm kind of getting used to stuff, and now I'm seeing things that I didn't really notice before, and I'm tackling these new objectives in a very different way, which again, to the IGN reviewers' point, is why it deserves such a high rating. I have a feeling I'm going to play a very different game than the game I played before, and it's so much going on. I don't remember half of it. It's so convoluted and like I don't know. There's so many weird things that happen that you like can't wrap your head around. Then it ends like abruptly, and so there's plenty of things to kind of draw you back in to reevaluate. But already I'm like sort of revisiting a masterpiece, and that's really fun, because with a masterpiece you can go in and just see it in a new light. I think that's why it's so good.
I recently got that game, and I'm
so excited.
I haven't played it yet. I really want to get into
Yeah.
it for that reason, because of all the praise that you've given it, especially. But yeah, I'm excited to get into it, because
Do you have
I've
it for
heard
Xbox?
I do.
Lame.
Yeah. Why, you want to borrow it?
I have a lot of games for PS4, and I have games for Xbox One, but I don't have enough hard drive space for them all, so I have to like pick and choose which is going to go on where, so I can always have the games I'm wanting to play installed all at the same time.
Yep. And like as in classic Metal Gear, like the last thing I did, but I did this afternoon before I came here. I was like, went into this facility, turned off the lights. They're obviously, hey, the lights went out. Go check the generator where the lights turned off. And right next to it, I hid in a dumpster, and the guy got close, and I dragged him into the dumpster. And it's like, and that's a very like actually simple way to play the game, which is already a very kind of little complex. So it is uber complex and filled with just micro details, which make it like super amazing.
Well, the fact that alone that you said that you start doing a lot of headshots, people are wearing masks, like that's just something that you don't encounter in a way. In a lot of other games, you can usually find little things like that to take advantage of the game and make it easier than it really should be.
It's right
like
there.
If you get really good at headshots, then you pretty much can own it most other games, because headshots are usually one shot kill. But if they upgrade to kind of hamper that a little bit more, that's going to make it more difficult. That's a crazy great improvement to a game.
And in like going back to the credit sequence, and every mission has a credit sequence. It's starring Venom Snake, starring whoever, and it even tells you the guest stars who the enemies you'll be fighting, and it's the Afghanistan militia, and then the Skull unit. And if you're fighting against the Skull unit, you're like, fuck, because like every time the Skull unit appears, they're super hard. So it's like guest starring the Skull unit. Even before you get to them, you're like, I'm gonna fight the Skull unit. But it's weird that it tells you that. It's like guest starring the Skull unit.
And it's not the element of surprise.
No, and it's like kind of tongue in cheek in a way. It's like, hey, guest starring the Skull unit. It's really, really cool. It's so stylish. And like just like the I told you about the sunglasses. Like that's very indicative of the whole game. It's just fucking cool. Nice. It's just like that's cool. He's like got a sunglass, Jeff Ray sunglasses, $9.99 or whatever the fuck it is.
If anybody's wondering, it is actually a French brand.
It is a French gentleman.
That's why they're so fancy.
Yeah, and it's just I'm sure Hideo Kojima's like put those in there, and it's just like I don't know.
Deal with this guy.
Yeah,
he does wear glasses. Those are probably the kinds of glasses.
Yeah,
that's probably
they're very cool.
God.
But yeah,
I wish that
I'm really
every
excited to get
copy
into
of
that
Metal
game.
Gear came with like a 20% off promo code for JF.
Like how cool would that
like
be?
The collector's edition.
It's like it has
So
nothing to do with the
cool.
game, yet it has like everything to do with the game.
The
It's
collector's
weird.
edition of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Product integration.
Yeah.
It's the
You open
wave
the
of
box.
the future.
Yeah.
And it's the game and just a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah, put them on. It's like it'd be so
That's
cool.
the
And, like,
collector's edition. Oh, I would shell out for
And I
that.
do feel
You would
like
have to for how much those glasses
yeah, it'd be
are.
like a $900 game, and I do feel like other games wouldn't be able to get away with that. You'd be
Oh,
like,
no.
oh, this is advertising in game. Fuck that. But this is like that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's awesome.
Are you
Yeah.
glad that you had enough of a break from when you last finished it to
I
restarting
I
it?
definitely. I had no want or desire to replay it until now. It's been over a year, I think. Right?
Yeah, definitely, because it
I
came
feel
out in
like that's the
2015.
appropriate
Yeah.
amount of time.
Yeah,
like that's
I don't wanna
how
replay it
long you
immediately.
should be waiting at least a year or more
Yeah.
to revisit the best game.
Yeah.
Like I already know I want to replay Horizon Zero Dawn at some
Yeah.
point. I've been wanting to replay The Last of Us for forever, but it's always like I feel like it has to be at the right time or I'm ready to come back to it.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten to that point
You'll
yet.
know.
You'll
It's like
know.
revisiting
Exactly.
any good
You'll
piece
know
of
when
work.
it's
Yeah,
time.
you're like, I want to see that again.
Yep.
Definitely.
Awesome. No, so I'm super excited.
I know. I can't wait to hear your
I
thoughts.
want to get
it's
into it.
gonna
We'll
be
have to do a whole,
so
after I
it's
get into it and play
you
it,
have
we'll
a
have to do a whole
great game
episode like what
ready.
we did with Uncharted, where we
Yeah.
talk about it and go on the things.
Yep.
Obviously, it'll probably be a little bit more favorable of a light than what we did with Uncharted, but that's
Oh, you
true.
mean
'Cause it's a
the
different
worst game ever?
ever.
Boo! God, Jerrett, how dare you bring this up?
I'll hit you.
Come into my house.
I mean, it's a better game than Splatoon 2,
no,
hands
it's not
down.
even my house.
You didn't even hear.
Yeah, it's fine.
No, I'm sorry. What did you say?
I said it's a better game than Splatoon 2, hands down.
I'll kill you.
We're gonna throw down.
Jumps across table.
I'm scrappy.
Claw my way out.
Sharpen my nails.
Lots of good stuff. But yeah, so excited, looking forward for Destiny 2. Really looking more to get into Splatoon 2, playing it single player, getting better at it, and
Rank up.
waiting for
You
Zach
gotta
to get
play
it so
with
that we
me.
can all three play together.
Yes.
And yes, obviously, Metal Gear Solid
Yes.
Phantom Pain, a great game that I
great
need to
game.
play. We all need to play.
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
probably play it. It does sound pretty awesome.
I mean, for now, you can get it on the cheap.
Yeah, probably
yeah.
I'm
can.
pretty sure it has
Probably
like
so.
collectors or not collectors, but Game of the Year edition.
Really?
Out
Did
right
it
now
get Game of the
too.
Year?
Did it have DLC?
I think. Not totally sure since I didn't play it.
I don't remember it.
Hopefully by
having
now
DLC.
there's like a definitive edition. Or
I think,
something
and I
with
think
all
that's
the-
what it is.
yeah,
I think
cool.
that's out right
Yeah.
now. So you should look into getting that. Well, before we go, we do have our song contact for the contest for this week, and the hint is coming to us from Mr. Parks. What you got?
Be quiet and listen.
Be quiet and listen. Simple, direct, to the point. And that is our hint, ladies and gentlemen, for this week. Be quiet and listen. Now, as a reminder, the song contest goes live Wednesday at 9 a.m., the day after this episode goes live. First person to correctly guess the game for the hint that Zach gave by either replying to the posts on Facebook, Twitter, or in the YouTube comments of this video will get to send us a song and hint for a future episode. Remember, that is Wednesday, 9 a.m., the day after this episode goes live. Well, that concludes this episode of Team Chat Podcast. Until next time, I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Adios.
And to my left, Zachary Parks.
Sayonara.
We'll see you all next time. Stick around for the song.
Here